Welcome to another Tech Help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I'm your instructor, Richard Rost. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to schedule a forced shutdown time for all users in your Microsoft Access database. That's right, you want to kick everybody out of the database at 11 p.m. or 3 a.m. or whatever. We're going to do that today. Today's question comes from Colin in Pasadena, Texas, one of my Platinum members. Colin says, we have a backup routine that runs every night at 3 a.m. The problem, as I'm sure you're aware, is that some users go home for the night and forget to log out of their database. And our backup routine will not back up any open Microsoft Access files. Yes, most backup programs will not back up open files. There are some that do, and there are some alternatives, but if you got a backup solution that you like, I can see where this is a problem. It also makes it hard for me to do maintenance in the morning if I come in early and there are still people logged into their machines. Then I have to run around and shut down databases. We only have 15 users, but it's still a pain in the behind, and he didn't use the word behind in his email, to have to log out 3 or 4 people every day. And of course, they don't listen to me. Is there a way I can have Microsoft Access force users to shut down the database at a specific time, say 11 p.m., No one's ever here outside of regular business hours, except for me, of course, the lonely IT guy. And yes, Colin, I feel your pain. I was the lonely IT guy, the lonely database administrator for a couple of companies in my career. So I get where you're coming from. But yes, of course, it is definitely possible to program Access to force everybody out at whatever time you specify. And that's what we're going to cover in today's video. But first, some prerequisites. Of course, this is a developer level video. What does that mean? That means if you've never done any VBA programming before and you want to learn how, go watch this video first. It'll teach you everything you need to know to get started in about 20 minutes. Make sure you know how to write if-then statements. If not, go watch this video. Make sure you understand what a split database is. If you've got multiple users on your Access database, you must split your database. You don't have to. You can have them run the same copy of the data, but I don't recommend it. All right, that's just asking for problems. So if you've got multiple users in your database should be split. Go watch this video if you don't know how to do that. We're going to use a temp bar. So if you don't know what temp bars are, go watch this. It's basically a temporary variable in memory. And Adam loves them, and so do I, and we're going to use them in today's video. And this one's optional. But if you want to know who's in your database at any one given time, who's logged on, who's logged off, go watch this. We're not going to use all of this stuff today, but I am going to use the environment variables so that you can have it so that your system, the administrator's system, doesn't have the reboot forced on it. In order to know who's logged on, we're going to use one of these techniques in this video. So this one's optional, but go watch this. It's really good, especially if you got a multi-user database. Now, these are all free videos. They're on my website. They're on my YouTube channel. Go watch them and come on back. Alrighty, so for this example, we're going to use my Tech Help free template, and we're going to pretend that we got 4 or 5 different users on a network, on a local area network using it. So we'll simulate a file server, a database server, by just creating a folder on our desktop. We'll call it DB. All right, but this would be whatever shared folder you have set up on your server, which doesn't have to be an actual server. A lot of people ask me that. Does it have to be like a Windows server? No. No, if you got a local peer-to-peer network in your office and you got, 3 or 4 machines running Windows and you got file sharing between them, well, you just set up a shared folder on one of them and that's it. That's all you need for a database server as it is with Microsoft Access. It's not a real database server, but it's good enough. It's good enough for small offices. But the technique that I'm going to show you will even work if you have a SQL server running Microsoft Access. You just have to set up, we're going to set up a shared table that is going to include a shutdown time. You just have to set that up on your SQL server instead, but the front end stuff's all exactly the same. All right, but before we split this thing, let's go in here and set up basically a table that gets the commands from the admin, right? We're going to call it the server table or the shutdown date time, right? Open this guy up here, and we're going to create a table in here, create table design. We're going to have a shutdown date time field. Okay, save this as the server T, the server table. All right, primary key? No, we really don't need one. This is one of those rare instances where it's going to be a table that has one record in it. And so you don't need an ID because you're not going to have multiple records. You literally, the admin, will open up this table. If you want to make yourself a form for it, go ahead. You don't have to. All right. But you're just going to open up this table and come in here and put down, what date and time you want this thing to shut everybody down. So for now, let's put in here a date way in the future, like 2100 January 1st. And yes, I use ISO date standard time. And if you don't know what that is, I got a video about it. I'll put it down below in the links section. You can go watch that. It's year, month, day, which everyone should use. All right. And then later on, let's say today I'm recording this on January 29th, 2024 at about 5 p.m. So if I want this to shut down tonight, I would just put that date and time in here, right? Maybe 10 p.m. Okay. We'll do an example of it a little bit later on. All right. So there's the server table. And this thing is going to be linked to all the front ends. So they'll be able to look in here and say, hey, do I have to shut down now? Okay. Hey, how about now? No? Okay. I can continue. Oh, how about now? Right? We'll make an interval. We'll make a timer loop that'll keep checking that. And that interval's up to you. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. All right. So now it's time to split this thing. I have a whole video on splitting databases, which is what I told you to watch before. First, let's move this guy into the database folder. Open that up. You don't have to put it in a database folder. This just simulates your network file share, right? I'm going to rename this to my front end, and I'm going to copy it and paste it. Copy, paste. All right. And this will be the back end. All right. Front end, back end. And we're going to open up the back end, and we're going to shut this, and we're going to delete everything except for the tables. Everything. All these objects, delete. Are you sure? Yup. Go away. Just the tables in my backend. And while you're at it, go into File Options and make sure under Current Database you don't have the display form. That usually goes away when you delete the display form, but sometimes it doesn't and you get an error message. Okay? All right. Backend's all set. Let's go into the front end. And in the front end, we're going to delete just the tables. Delete, are you sure? Yep. Deletes the relationships. Yep, that's okay. All right. And now we're going to link it to that backend file. So database tools. Nope, I'm sorry. External data, new data source from database access. Link to data source, browse. This is on my desktop under DB, backend, open, OK. And then we're going to select all and hit OK. And now we're linked. Okay. Basic split database setup. All right. Step 3. We need to have a timer event running somewhere. Now, you could open up, like when this thing starts up, you could open up and hide a hidden form. That's definitely one option. I've seen some different solutions that involve that. But me, in all of my databases, I like to always have the main menu open. And I usually turn this box off here so the user cannot shut the main menu, right? And since my end users are working with ACCDE files, they can't right-click and go to design view. That's turned off. Okay, that's a properly encrypted database, which I talk about more in my split database video. All right, but just in case you do give them the option to close this, I'm going to say that if the main menu is somehow closed, we are going to shut down the database. Okay, so in this forms on close event, where are you? On close or on unload, it doesn't matter. Either one works fine. On close, right there. Okay, in here, if this form is closed, we're going to do command quit. And the default is AC quit save all. That's fine. Just hit that, enter. Okay, it's going to basically prompt to save all, but your end users can't do that because they can't save stuff anyway, so don't worry about it. Now, one thing that I find annoying myself is if I'm working on the database, I'm often switching this thing between regular and design view and blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to use the techniques that I talked about in my logging users on and off to say, hey, if this is me, all right, if it's developer guy, all right, if it's user Rick on my machine, I don't want this to shut down the database. So I'm going to use those environment variables that I talked in the other lesson. So I'm going to say if environ username, which means the user logged on to Windows, okay, if that's not me and my username is AMICR, don't ask, long story. I think I talked about it in that other video. All right. and environment user domain, that's the name of the PC, the Windows name of the PC. If that's not Spock, that's mine, then we're going to quit. That basically just says, if it's me on my PC, then don't exit the database, because I like to flip back and forth between, doing my maintenance and my design view and all that stuff. Okay. Everybody else, if they close the main menu, it's going to exit them out, because our timer is running in this form. And if they shut this but leave the database open, that defeats the purpose. Okay. See how that works? Okay. So that's what that's about. So now I can close this, save changes, start it back up. There we go. And if you want to test this, by the way, just do one of these, right? Run that stuff out. Always good to throw in a quick debug compile. Okay, now if I close this, you sure you want to save changes? See, because it knows it's closing now. So it asks me if I want to save changes, and then it exits the database. All right, but I don't want that to happen for me, so let's go back in and fix that. And I got to go to, and you see, here's what happens though. If I switch to design view, see? Command quit's not available right now because, see, it causes issues. Okay, so now I need to go back into my code. There you go. Turn this back on. Okay, now we've got our server table set up. We've split the database. We made it so they can't close down the main menu form because our timer event's going to run here. Okay, so what's up next? Next, we're going to make the timer form, which is going to involve some logic. We're going to have to look up what the server setting is going to be for any given moment. We're going to have to set the time that this thing started up. We're going to build a form to let the user know, hey, you're going to be shutting down soon. All right, it's going to look like that. Database will shut down in 1 minute or 10 minutes or whatever you want. Okay. And then we're going to test it and issue some commands to it. And we're going to continue tomorrow in part 2. So tune in tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. And of course, members, silver members and up, can watch part 2 right now because I'm about to record it and I'm posting it tonight. So you're watching this, Tuesday the 30th? So Wednesday the 31st? The rest of you can watch it. If not, sign up, become a member, and you can watch it right now. But that is going to be your tech help video for today. I hope you learned something. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you tomorrow for part 2. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and post any comments you may have below. I do try to read and answer all of them as soon as I can. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, which is completely free. Click the bell icon and select all to receive notifications when new videos are posted. Want to learn more? Click the Show More link below the video to find additional resources and links. YouTube does a pretty good job of hiding it. It's right down there. See this part of the description here, right? The name, the video's up here. There's a little Show More down there, right down the bottom. It's kind of hard to find. But once you click on that, you'll see a list of other videos, additional information related to the current topic, free lessons, and lots more. And YouTube no longer sends out email notifications when new videos are posted like they used to do. But if you'd like to get an email every time I post a new video, click on the link to join my mailing list. And you can pick how frequently to get emails from me, either as they happen, daily, weekly, or monthly. Now, if you'd like to become a paid member of my channel and receive all kinds of awesome perks, click on the Join button. You'll see a list of all the different membership levels that are available, each with its own special perks, including my extended cut videos, access to my code vault, lots of VBA source code in there, template downloads, and lots more. I'll talk more about these perks at the end of the video. Even if you don't want to commit to becoming a paid member and you'd like to help support my work, please feel free to click on the tip jar link. Your patronage is greatly appreciated and will help keep these free videos coming. I got some puppies to feed. But don't worry, no matter what, these free tech help videos are going to keep coming. As long as you keep watching them, I'll keep making more, and they'll always be free. Now, if you really want to learn Access and you haven't tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access, including building forms, queries, reports, and more. It's over 4 hours long. You can find it on my website or on my YouTube channel. I'll put a link down below you can click on. And did I mention it's completely free? The whole thing, free, 4 hours. Go watch it. And okay, a lot of you have told me that you don't have time to sit through a 4-hour course. So I do now have a quicker Microsoft Access for Beginners video that covers all the basics faster in about 30 minutes. And no, I didn't just put the video on fast forward, but I'll put a link to this down below as well. Now, if you like level 1, level 2 is just $1. That's it, $1. And that's another whole 90-minute course. Level 2 is also free for paid members of any level, including supporters. So if you're a member, go watch level 2. It's free. Okay, want to get your question answered in a video just like this one? Visit my tech help page and send me your question there. Members get priority, of course. While I do try to read and respond to all of the comments posted below in the comments section, I only have time to go through them briefly a couple of times a month, and sometimes I get thousands of them. So send me your question here on the tech help page, and you'll have a better chance of getting it answered. And while you're on my website, be sure to stop by my Access forum. We've got lots of lively conversations about Microsoft Access and other topics. I have a fantastic group of moderators who help me answer questions. Shout out to Alex, Kevin, Scott, Adam, John, Dan, Juan, and everybody else who helps out on the site. I appreciate everything you do. I couldn't do it without you. Be sure to follow my blog, find me on Twitter, and of course on YouTube. Yeah, I'm on Facebook too, but I don't like Facebook. Don't get me started. Now, let's talk more about those member perks if you do decide to join as a paid member. There are different levels: Silver, Gold, Platinum, and Diamond. Silver members and up get access to all of my extended cut tech help videos, one free beginner class every month, and some other perks. Gold members get all the previous perks, plus access to download the sample databases that I build in my tech help videos, plus access to my code vault where I keep tons of different functions that I use, the code that I build in most of the videos. You'll also get higher priority if you do submit any tech help questions. Now, answers are never guaranteed, but you do go higher in the list for me to read them. And if I like your question, you got a good chance of it being answered. You'll also get one free expert level class each month after you've finished the beginner series. Platinum members get all the previous perks plus even higher priority for tech help questions. You get access to all of my full beginner level courses for every subject. And I cover lots of different subjects like Word, Excel, VBA, ASP, lots of different stuff, not just Access. These are the full-length courses found on my website. You get all the beginner ones. In addition, once you finish the expert classes, you get one free developer class per month. So lots of training. And finally, you can also become a Diamond sponsor. You'll have your name or your company name listed on a sponsors page that will be shown on each video as long as you're a sponsor. You'll get a shout out in the video and a link to your website or product in the text below the video and on my website. So that's it. Once again, my name is Richard Rost. Thank you for watching this video brought to you by accesslearningzone.com. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something today. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you again soon.